Well, when I was young, my mom used to take us to like the bars and stuff that she always worked at. So like I've always been around drugs, and I've always been around drinking and partying. So it was like kind of natural. And then when I got to like 14, 15, I started smoking weed and selling coke and ecstasy pills and taking them and stuff. And it wasn't really that big of an issue in my eyes yet until my son was born, and I kind of straightened out and got a job and did what I was supposed to do and stopped getting in trouble as much. And when me and my son's mother split up is when it really got out of control, and I started using a lot. Started using heroin and getting fired from jobs and going in and out of jail, getting arrested all the time. And the last time I went to jail, I had warrants all over the state in like 3 different cities. And I remember leaving a store and the cops trying to pull me over, and I took on a high speed chase through a couple cities, and they set a dog after me and I got bit. And I remember sitting in jail the next morning, getting transferred to Hartford County, and I was thinking about what led up to this and what kind of life I'm really living. And he kind of brushed it off because the mentality comes back of you're in prison, now you got to be that person. And the reality of it is like about a month and a half in, I was sitting in seg, and the only book around to read was the Bible. So I read it from front to back multiple times in a 7-day period. When I got out, I started surrounding myself with people who wanted to do better when they got out of jail. And I started making phone calls to people I knew that could understand my situation and where I wanted and what I wanted out of life. It's not even a lifestyle. You know, people that use, they can go from homeless people to rich housewives to doctors. I mean, it's real simple as once you start taking them, whether it's pills or however it is you start doing them, it's a vicious cycle. And once it grips your soul, there's very few ways you're going to be able to get out of it. You know, don't get me wrong, the feeling you get, yeah, it's an amazing feeling at the time. And you're using it to numb the feelings that you have from the pain of the life you live. But the reality of it is at the end of it, you still have them problems that you're trying to mask. And you still have to deal with them. You still have to deal with life because you're living. So the best way to go about doing so is to get a God and stay away from drugs. I don't really know what else to say to that. The way I feel right now, and I've said this a bunch of times today, is like God is really showing off with me. Like he's really showing off. Like he's so strong and powerful that like the things he's doing in my life, he's actually like, you know, like one of them people you see that has tons of money that buys a bunch of jewelry and cars like they show off. Like he's doing that with me. He's really showing off. Your thought process will never change. Every morning I ask God to relieve me of the obsession, compulsion, and desire to use. Rid me of myself and my evilish thoughts. And they do show up. You know, it's what you do with thoughts when they come in. And at the end of the day, it's like, it just becomes easier to deal with it. You know, to know that, like, no matter what happens, no matter how bad your life gets, like, if you have faith and you don't use drugs, your life gets better. Like, you can get through anything.